I don't know what it is, but every single little tidbit that I see from the combat of this game just gets me a little bit more excited. And do you know what's the best part about this particular vid? Is that we have combat as well as a good old-fashioned bit of Xenoblade music. Hey everyone, welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 News Drops. This show, which may or may not be all about Xenoblade combat. But hey ho, what do you expect from us? So let's get into it right now. Now there's going to be a mix of things from Nintendo themselves, Monolith themselves, as well as this particular tweet right now, which is English, which is Xenoblade. Well, English, you can see from the screen.
Yeah.
So let's get into it right now. Fusion arts can also be a fusion of Kevis and Agnes class arts. For example, Noah's Swordfire class is a Kevis class, so his master arts can only be from Agnes. You may not set two classes from the same country. Now this one is a little bit confusing by its verbiage, even when it's been translated.
Yeah.
And for me, I would like definitely, if someone has clarification on this, I would love it. Because it seems to contradict itself in some ways. So fusion arts can be fusion, so yes, you can mix and match between Kevis and Agnes arts. However, you may not be able to set classes from the same country, so in some ways it allows mixing and matching, but at the same time it doesn't in another way.
So is it basically saying you can't stack things?
I do not know. I mean, there have been arts throughout Xenoblade in which has allowed you to stack effects, has not allowed you to stack effects on top of each other. But seeing how it's a master class, you would be able to mix and match from different characters. So again, this is, I think, one of the first times in this series of videos that I honestly don't have an answer on what this could be. If someone does, and because it's early in the morning for us right now,
As you can see.
yeah, so we are kind of not well with it. But still though, this is very weird, and on one side, good. I like the fact that the Kevis art are not just exclusive to Kevis and whatnot, but still, it is a little bit weird. Still though, if anyone does have clarification, it would love to hear your thoughts on this. Anyway though, that's the only grey area of today's video, so let's get into the solids and the things which we can definitely say for sure. And again, this is from Monolith of Japan, and it's as follows. Interlinks can be done at any time during the battle. You can use the powerful Ouroboros art endlessly during the interlink, but the heat gauge will rise over time. It will be released when the heat gauge is accumulated, so I want to hit powerful Titan art by then. And it does have a little clips for it, so we will show it right now. So now for this, we can definitely see how you can just interlink with Ouroboros, and you can do it at any time and hit as many art as you want in theory. And for me, I love this because it definitely is a risk-reward type of thing. And another thing I really love is how it gives you a visual representation on when your time is nearly up. For me, that's going to be very, very useful because normally with how the UI is and the amount of stuff going on, as long as you have a visual feed to tell you, hey, clock's ticking, that's going to be helpful for a lot of players.
This game's a lot about clocks.
It's almost like there's a theme going on. I love it. So again, short, simple, and of course down to the left here we see a cooldown. I can imagine that can be upgraded. Like less time out of Ouroboros. Again, I can see from so many angles how this can be a broken combat system.
Yeah, I'll admit Ouroboros is the one thing that kind of I'm unsure of the most. Like, is it kind of like how Numa works?
I imagine so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically what it is, it's more powerful, more varied arts that have more powerful effects. But of course, there's only a limited time you can do it for. You know what? Yeah, Numa might actually be one of the better comparisons that we can make, because it is about two people, Pyra and Mithra, coming together, spoiler alert, and just having decent effects. Except with Numa, you could have more powerful attacks, but also have elements in which you can switch Numa's elements on the fly. This is just more of that.
So, like, looking at the UI, is the left side the Ouroboros arts?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what I'm unsure of.
Yes, because if we see here, we see the interlink on this side. Plus you have your party commands, like, on these sides as well. Yeah, but this side, yeah, Ouroboros. And on the right-hand side, that's your normal art and chain attack. So again, it's a lot to take in.
It is.
I love it even more. Next one is, if you use Fusionage, you can strengthen Ouroboros from level 1 to 3. This stage is called the Interlink level, and the higher the number, the stronger it becomes. It is important to determine whether you will become Ouroboros immediately or use the power of Ouroboros with the Interlink level raised and powered up. So there's many stages of Ouroboros. So if you just want bog standard Ouroboros or level 3, then yeah, sure, this can be yours.
So it's like Blade affinity levels?
Blade affinity levels or Blade combo levels, if we were compare something to previous games. And for me, I kind of take it, because again, it's more depth to the combat.
Yeah, almost too in depth.
Do I want a mini half-sage Ouroboros? Do I want bog standard Ouroboros? Or do I want massive big Ouroboros? Still though, it is cool to see that, again, will you be able to upgrade each level? Will you have cores or gems which said, hey, level 1 stronger, level 2 stronger? Like I said, this is Xenoblade X levels of how many ways can we make this combat broken.
Well, we know the Ouroboros has a skill tree, so that probably plays into leveling up.
I will love it. God's sake. I'm gonna love, like, leveling up Ouroboros and just seeing how stupidly powerful it gets. And of course, we have next one. You can also switch with your partner Ouroboros body journey instantly. For example, you can use Ouroboros Land's defense counter technique and then switch to Ouroboros Center to focus on attack. I want to switch well according to the situation. This is awesome! The fact that once you turn it into Ouroboros, you're not stuck in one particular mode. You can switch on the fly. That is awesome! It's just a small thing, but because Xenoblade combat, it can go back and forth. Like, different needs can pop up at any time, especially depending what a monster gimmick is.
You're not going to think of another comparison. This is a lot like legions.
Yeah.
Like, if you need a sword legion, you can just switch to it. Or a beast legion, there you go.
Yeah, and honestly, this helps so much. The fact that you can just switch on the fly and do whatever you like. Honestly, this is such... I'm going to sound like a hypocrite when saying this, but this is a user-friendly, complicated battle system. Because, yeah, sure, it has so many options, but you don't have to be stuck in one version. I love it. You have so many characters in which you can switch to, so many arts which you can utilize, so many varied ways of doing the same role. Like, I want to be a dodge tank, I want to be a straight up attacker, I want to be a swifty attacker, I want to be a healer, I want to be a buff healer. And the fact that you can just keep on switching and switching for whatever means you need. It is... I can't overstate how awesome this combat is just on the surface. You can definitely tell Monolith, albeit, yeah, sure, it makes it a lot to take in, but they want you to give as many tools as a player would need. And for me, that is awesome. They want it to be varied and accessible and fun. Honestly, Monolith has got this down pat and it's going to be so fun to play.
Yeah.
Plus, here's the thing. With so much variety and so much depth, it's going to take a long time for this combat to grow stale. Because you've got so many options in which you can go through.
Yeah, because, like, I'm going to be honest, with this game and all we know about its combat, it kind of makes Xenoblade 1 seem bland in comparison.
Well, as any series goes on, whether it be JRPGs, platformers, first-person shooters, etc., as time goes on, a lot of games start suffering from first game syndrome, in which they're testing out waters, testing out a combat, seeing what works, what doesn't work. But Monolith has just taken that and just gone 0 to 60 with it. It's like, we're not going to make minor improvements. We're not going to make minor quality of life improvements. No. We're going to take everything that we've learned and just move on from it. It's so good. I'm sorry if I'm just going off the wall and rambling here, but I just cannot overstate how much you have to play with in this combat. It is amazing. And you know what else is amazing? Xenoblade's music. And what is one of the most famous and one of the most best soundtracks in Xenoblade's history? Well, I got showed here. This is from Nintendo of Europe. The title of today's Xenoblade Chronicles 3 song might be familiar to fans of the series. This energetic track plays when battling unique monsters found throughout Ionius. And what else could it be? Now, we've heard the original version. We've heard the remixed version from the Definitive Edition. We've even had a sequel in the form of You Will Recall Our Names in Xenoblade 2. But guys, I'm happy to show that we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3 You Will Know Our Names finale. Now, we haven't heard this yet, so this is going to be our first time reacting to it, listening to it, and you guys get to listen to our reactions. But dude, I love this song from the original game. I've loved every single iteration of it, whether it be the 3DS version or even the spin-off Project X Zone version. And that engages the enemy. They're pretty decent renditions too. Honestly, but this one, I'm looking forward to it. So let's just be quiet and let's just listen to this great track. For me, that was pretty strong stuff.
It reeked of Xenoblade 1 with trickles of 2 in there.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not shocking, and you can definitely hear the flute in its intro, seeing how it's a nice combination. And for me, this brings up many questions. Well, for one thing, I can imagine this is a common position done by Ace, because Ace has always done the unique monster themes for 1, 2, and I'm gonna guess 3. So, great stuff there. It's a mix of all 3 games, of course, but the one thing that I'm curious on is its name, Finale. That can mean many things. Does it indicate its place in the story? Does it indicate that this is the final version of You Will Know Our Names?
That's what I'm thinking.
And if so, what does that mean for the series or the current plotline? Is the theory true and Xenoblade 3 is the combination of 1, 2 stories coming together? Because if so, it's really sad to see Xenoblade as we know it possibly come to an end, but, you know, still, Xenoblade 3. I'm still gonna love it.
Yeah.
And this is just one of the tracks that we've heard, and for me, I do feel like nostalgia is going to weigh heavily, and I do still prefer the originals version, but that's just me. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. What do you think of this song right here, and what do you think of the news so far in this video? As always, love seeing your comments in every vid, and we appreciate every single one. And you know what else? We appreciate your time for watching this video. So guys, with that said, I've been Lightning.
I'm Alice.
And thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, then of course, please do like it. And if you want to stay up to date with more Xenoblade Chronicles 3 news, whether it's screenshots, trailers, or anything in between, we will be here to cover it. And, of course, you can subscribe if you want to stay up to date. But, until then guys, you will not know our names, but you will know Xenoblade Chronicles 3 when it drops. Because we will be speaking about it to no end, pre-release as well as during release.
Yeah.
Xenoblade 3 Let's Play coming soon. See you then. Thanks guys. We'll see you next time.